Dear viewers and listeners, Assalamu alaikum and a blessed day to you all. I, Hassan Siddiqui, postgraduate student of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Mehrchand University, Bangladesh, welcome all of you to our today's webinar on maritime education and training amid COVID-19. From the first quarter of 2020, the people around the world are facing the worst nightmare, the COVID-19, the greatest health disaster ever. Like other sectors, maritime education and training are also facing difficulties all around the world. That's why we will discuss on maritime education and training amid COVID-19 on our today's webinar. Today, we have Professor Angelica Ambailan, Director at External Relations Office, Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, is presenting present as our guest of honor. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Bangladesh. Warm greetings from Philippines. Thank you, Hassan Siddique, for this invitation.
Thank you, ma'am. You have came to Bangladesh when was your last visit in Bangladesh?
When was my last visit in Bangladesh? Well, it was in November 2019 after my AMFUF or Association Marine Fisheries University Forum Conference in Vietnam. And I should say that it was a very
Hello, ma'am.
memorable, yes, do you hear me? Hello? Yes, and I would say
Yes,
that,
now I can see you.
yeah. Yes, and it was a very memorable, professional, and productive 10-day visit as External Relations Director of the Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, as I was personally invited by friends in Bangladesh. And also, I represented my president, Vice Admiral Eduardo Mar Santos, who is also the NI and IMORES PH branch president, and AMEA advisor, and also the AUSN visiting professor. So let me share my fruitful visit in Dhaka and Bangladesh, and Chittagong, Bangladesh, in various events. Well, in Dhaka, Bangladesh, I participated in the Nautical Institute and the Institute of Marine Engineering, Science and Technology, or IMAREST. It was an seminar on e-learning, incorporating it to maritime education and training with the speaker, the good commandant of Bangladesh Maritime Academy, Commandant Sajid Hassan. And also the guest of honor then was the Vice Chancellor Khaled Iqbal, the president of Your Good University, Bangamadu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Maritime University. And I, as the secretary of the NI and IMARES PH branch, I was also invited to speak in front of the NI and IMARES PH branch officers, and in the presence also of other shipping companies and maritime training institutions, which I was honored to meet. Also, speaking of NI and IMARES, I would like all maritime students, I'd like to encourage them to check the website of NI and IMARES and avail of the vast free e-learning tools, especially with this COVID-19 that most of the students are staying at home, and they are free. Also, the membership for NI and IMARES are also free. What are the benefits being a member or a student member of NI or IMARES? That can be abbreviated to OCEANS. O stands for opportunity for professional development. C stands for consultation to organization, because you get to consult to various experts who are members of NI and IMARES. E stands for education, for scholarship and awards, because NI and IMARES provides also some um, scholarship and also provide awards for different contests which Bangladesh students can avail. The A stands for the access, no, to vast resources that are available on the website. N stands for network with professionals, and S stands for status, for because you can also be upgraded in terms of your grade or membership in Timores. Second, I also participated in the BSMRMU International Conference with theme An Outlook for Sustainable Maritime Development and Governance, Challenges and Way Ahead, as the invited international speaker of the good Vice Chancellor Khaled Iqbal of your university. And I think at the
Yes.
Assam, you participated along with other 700 maritime stakeholders at Hotel Intercontinental, wherein I met you. And I remember you approached me and congratulated me in my presentation. And also, a lot
Yes,
of
I
faculty. Mhm. Yes,
yes, I can still remember that day, and that was a very nice presentation. Everyone really appreciate your presentation. They really enjoy it. They learn a lot of things from that.
yes. Thank you. And that's why you invited me for this webinar. And also, timely that in Bangladesh, there is this 20th Asian Bioethics Conference hosted by the
Yes,
Asian Bioethics of Bangladesh. And I was invited by the uh, Asian Bioethics Association Vice President for Bangladesh, who is also the head of the anatomy of the MH Samomirita Medical College. I don't know if you're familiar with that university, and that is located in Bangladesh. The professor is Dr. Professor Shamina Lasker, who is also my co-professor of the AUSN, American University of Sovereign Nation. I also attended the board of directors meeting of ABA with me representing Philippines. This ABA conference was in partnership with Ubios Ethics Institute and the American University of Sovereign Nations, or AUSN. So very timely, as most of my co-professors and co-accreditors were in attendance. So in Bangladesh, I also sat in dissertation defense of graduate students of AUSN. By the way, AUSN, you can check on the website. It is located in Arizona, USA. And there are a number
yeah,
of Bangladesh full and partial scholars of AUSN. So I met a lot of
yes,
these
ma'am.
students, scholars, who also invited and toured me around, like Muhammad Ziaw, who is the CEO and owner of Techno Company. And if you check the website of AUSN, you can see more than 20 Bangladesh who graduated their masters and PhD. And
Yes, ma'am.
so for those students who would like to pursue higher educational degrees, may check the website and avail the partial or full scholarship provided by AUSN. So I also participated in AUSN accreditors um, a meeting wherein I'm also one of the accreditors of accredited universities of sovereign nations. Now in that,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, now in Chittagong, Bangladesh, I happy to be to visit the Bangladesh Maritime Academy and the University of Chittagong. So I was warmly welcomed by Bangladesh Maritime Academy Commandant Sajid Hussain and wife Bula. So I met with the officials and with the faculty, ably led by Dr. Sajid, who invited me also for a series of maritime events, and we discussed the way forward with MAAP and arranged their visit in MAAP for the possible MOU signing with MAAP President. Also, I had the opportunity to lecture and met the very good students of Bangladesh Maritime Academy. And separately, I was able also to talk to the female students of Bangladesh Maritime Academy, and I was impressed with them for their smartness. I was also warmly welcomed by the Lady Vice
That
Chancellor of University of Chittagong. Dr. Professor Shireen Akhter. Um, I think she is the first lady vice chancellor of University of Chittagong, and this was arranged by my co-board of director of Asian Marine Educators Association, Dr. Mohammad Moslem Udin Muna, who is now the chair of the Department of Oceanography
Yes,
of
ma'am.
University of
Yes.
Chittagong. So indeed, it was very productive meeting, and also I'd like to encourage the students to check the website of the Asian Marine Educators Association, because membership is also free. So those students who would like to learn more about ocean literacy and also about marine education while they are staying at home can visit the website and apply for membership. It's free, and they can also contact. No, we have the a representative of the Dr. Udin of Bangladesh, who is the board of director of AMEA. The president of AMEA is President Sasaki of Japan, and the secretary is Professor Rayen of National Taiwan Ocean University. So see, very productive, memorable, and very
Yeah,
professional.
that's a
Me-
very nice journey you have in Bangladesh. So, ma'am, let's please tell us or give us a brief about the maritime education and training in the Philippines.
the maritime education training in the Philippines. Okay, the Philippines is known as the mining capital of the world. The Philippines is a maritime nation because of its geographical location, and Philippines is known as the number one supplier of seafarers, being the number one choice in the world. It is for that reason that we have a lot of maritime education training schools. There are more than 90 offering Bachelor of Science in Marine Transportation and Marine Engineering, and we have more than 78 training centers. The money agency is more than 450, responsible for the recruitment and selection of seafarers. Filipino seafarers are known as the new heroes because they remit dollars, millions of dollars, no, in the Philippines. And MAAP, being a Met Scholar institution, is established by the Association of Marine Officers Seamen's Union in of the Philippines in 1998. This is to ensure the continuous supply of officers, because MAP does not only produce we don't produce ordinary seafarers, but we produce officers. All our
ঠিক আছে
students are scholars and board passers, and they are all sponsored by more than 40 shipping companies represented by IMEC and IMAJ. And these shipping companies eventually employ our graduates. And AMUSUP and MAAP contributed in the improvement of MET in the Philippines as we conduct regular trainings, seminars, continuing professional development, activities, all beneficial for the seafarers. We are also member of the National Research Council of the Philippines, and we conduct researches that has policy implication, like the K212, the mining productivity gain cycle in the Philippines. We also partner with GlobalMet TKF for funded projects for the continuing professional development of seafarers and maritime educators. We also partner with NI and IMARES, and also with the IAMU, or International Association of Maritime Universities, for the continuing professional development for maritime educators. We are also part of the IAMU Sustainable Development in MET project for the sustainability of maritime education and training. So MET in the Philippines is dynamic, it is vibrant, it is progressing, and true progress is usually shared by all maritime stakeholders for a better maritime education and training.
yeah that's the That's a very nice brief about the maritime education and training in the Philippines. Ma'am, due to COVID-19, like other sectors, maritime education and training are also facing a few difficulties. So, what's the impact of COVID-19 in the maritime education and training system of the Philippines?
Okay, COVID-19 is pandemic. It is a global health issues and it affects everyone, no? And all countries. It just comes in different forms and intensities. All sectors are affected, and because of its domino effect, the maritime education and training is not exempted from that. Well, in the Philippines, the primary concern is, of course, safety and health for all concerned. So we had experienced the lockdown, the quarantine, the various health protocol procedures. This all provided a sudden stop or slowdown in the economic activities, which affected the maritime education and training system in the Philippines. There are a lot of
Yeah.
restrictions in movements, a lot of restrictions in travels. Hence, all the events, all the activities, all the action plans, the seminars, the conferences, the classroom instructions, and even the on-job training, the apprenticeship of the students are all canceled, have to be canceled. And this all directly or indirectly affected the MET system in the Philippines. In fact, Asan, many private schools and MET related businesses in the Philippines have closed down. And this resulted to
Yes.
loss of jobs, whereas
Yeah.
others have to give up their jobs or even have to give up schooling due to transportation problems. There may be some areas that are COVID free, but let's face it, some students, some faculty, staff, personnel, they come from various places. Hence, there are few enrollees, no, due to transportation problems and the fear of
Yes.
virus, no.
Yes.
And due to skeletal working arrangements in MAAP, and not only in MAAP, in all offices, including maritime education and training, with social distancing and the like, people have to wait and queue before one can avail of the various services being provided by both government and private companies. So, due to no face-to-face meetings, everybody is also using digital technology for communication, for like this video meeting, video tutorials, and other e-learning activities. This resulted perhaps traffic on air, making internet connection very weak in the Philippines. The blended learning and distance learning is the key, but the problem is not all met or yeah, students have gadgets and computers for blended learning. Luckily for MAP students, all our students are scholars, so they stay here in the campus and they are provided free accommodation, they are provided meals as scholars, and also some of our faculty and staff are also provided accommodation and meals. However, most of our faculty and staff goes home on weekends, and they were also locked down in their respective regions. In this global pandemic, my coworkers and I are very fortunate to be working in a right institution like the Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, uh, with a heart, I should say. MAP is being led by a very caring president, Vice Admiral Eduardo Mar Santos, who always have us in mind. And in this challenging time, and this how somehow has lightened our burden. When we were locked down for almost 2 months at MAAP, we felt the leadership. We were, um, cooked meals were delivered in our respective
Yeah.
houses.
Okay.
Transport services are also on
Yeah,
standby for those who may need services for
that's very
essential
good.
necessities like medicines or groceries or LPGs, and of course, as per
That's
schedule. And then,
that's very good.
yes, and then our president also requested AMOSUP for monetary assistance for all of us in this crisis. And he also met us in Zoom for his directives and guidance. I would also like to share that even our alumnus, the MAP alumnus, they're also very helpful. They have their vehicles, so they drove. No, they became drivers for the frontliners,
Okay,
for the seafarers who were
that's
stranded.
really very good.
Yes, and they also cook meals, distributed meals, free, and then
Yeah,
they help the community. So in this crisis, everybody is kind. Everybody, are kind. All sectors. Um, we consider our frontliners as heroes, and every Filipinos are kind. They're helping one another in the spirit of bayanihan or cooperation, and we heal and learn as one. And this, yes,
that's it from you. Thank you. So I have few questions regarding like, are you taking classes on Zoom or on which platform? What internet platform you're using? Only Zoom or any other platform you're using?
we are. It's a kind of blended learning or distance learning. We have this learning management system. So we have
Yes.
Videotel, we have Seagulls, we have modules, we use YouTube's, we use the NI Emirates websites, and
Yeah.
and all the students are provided their respective, of course, gadgets. Um, and they are all scholars. They are staying here, so MOP is not much affected uh, in this for
Due to
this
COVID
COVID 19.
19.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. So another thing that is regarding exam, how
Mhm.
you are taking the exams through online?
Um, After the lockdown, classes have not yet, really have not yet officially started. No, in fact, this is an exercise of creativity and innovation, not only for on the part of our faculty, but also on the part of our students, because the students themselves are preparing their respective learning management system. And when
Yeah.
they were provided examination by the instructors, they they were all good. They the grades are good, and in fact, the our president were kidding. Oh, probably we don't need teachers. No, just a joke. But it means the
I
teachers
can
are doing
understand.
well, because they are good facilitator. So of course, you need the guide, no, the guide of the teacher. The How good the teacher facilitates the lesson, what particular learning tool they're supposed to use to check. So we're using Google Drive, Blue Jeans, Zoom. So a lot of apps, the various apps. So it takes a lot of creativity and innovation on the part of both the students and the teachers.
That's very nice. This is the last question regarding students, exams, and other things. Are you facing any technological difficulties like network problems or device problems?
Yes, actually, that is the big problem in the Philippines. We are not ready, but all the internet providers are working hand in hand. No, I think they're coming up with the optical fiber. They call it fiber, increasing
Yes,
the
optical
bandwidth.
fiber network.
Yep,
Yeah.
increasing the bandwidth. Um, Last month, we also experienced the same here in Maap, but it has been addressed already. We have a very good MIITD, Management Information System and Technology
Yeah.
Development Department, and also upon the directive of our president. So it has to be, we have to increase the bandwidth, and it has been addressed. The problem now is at the at home. Um, Actually, that's my problem, no? Very weak internet connection, but the only way to solve that is to look for a provider and to increase the bandwidth. But because of the skeletal work arrangement, I'm still waiting for the provider to install the needed Wi-Fi bandwidth.
Yeah, thank you. Now, at this moment, I would like to share some steps that has been taken by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Maritime University, Bangladesh, uh, for the to support its students to uh, conduct their classes amid COVID-19. So, from the very beginning, our university has started taking online classes. So a few students had some problems regarding net packages. So at that point, our university has come up and they have provide a support, a financial support for the students to buy internet packages so that they can continue their learning
Very good.
processes. And yeah, that's the very good initiative by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Maritime
Mm.
University. And other than that, they are also taking a plan to support the students, those who have uh, some technical problems like not having a device to attend the classes. So we are also here, our university, taking steps to face the challenges and support the students so that the maritime education and training in Bangladesh is going and continuing without any problems.
Congratulations, because I know you have a very good vice chancellor,
Yeah,
Vice Chancellor Dr. Khaled Iqbal. So he
yeah,
wanted the reason why also he hosted the international conference. I know it's for the
yes,
students. No, he want
yes,
you to be globally competitive, and really Bangladesh is making waves in that area. Congratulations.
inshallah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, at this moment, we have an interesting questions that is, maritime trade is a vital to many nations, especially Bangladesh and Philippines. Are you in favor of women entering and joining the maritime force?
Oh, yes, of course. Because this is also in support of the Sustainable Development Goals, number 5, on women empowerment and inclusivity. Women should be accepted in any profession, field, or discipline, as long as the women, be it maritime or what else, police or military, um, women should be accepted in any profession. Because but however, women must be interested, women must be determined, because I believe that she can be trained, she can be developed, and she can be at par or even exceed her male counterpart if given the opportunity, no, to join the maritime force. I believe that men and women should not compete with one another, however they should complement one another. That's
Yeah,
for the
that's what I
betterment.
think.
Yes, yes. And that is for the betterment of the institution, for the betterment of the organization, for the betterment of the society, and the maritime arena in general.
Yeah, thank you. And now I'm very glad to share this. With the first-sighted vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh started to recruit female merchant officers from 2012. Please share a few words to encourage them for joining in the maritime arena.
That's a very good question. First, my respect and admiration to the visionary, Honorable Lady Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, for seeing the value of women, no, to compose the Bangladesh Merchant Marine Officers. Again, as I said, this is in support to SDG 5 on women empowerment and inclusivity. Encouraging female to join the maritime arena, I believe, is only one side of the equation. Women might be encouraged, no? The female might be encouraged, but if no shipping companies to accept them or to provide them opportunities, then it will be useless. For the vision of the Prime Minister Hasina to be realized, allow me to provide my personal perspective on how to encourage women or how to encourage and mainstream women in maritime arena. And let us not only focus on the maritime education and training because there are many career pathways in maritime with various perks and various incentives. So, how do we mainstream women in maritime? So, first, you have to disseminate the information available about the seafaring jobs and also about the career pathways, both at sea and at shore. You have to inform the women about the various career paths in the maritime profession available for them. Like they can be teachers, they can be crewing managers, they can be maritime lawyers, they can also be shipping
They have a scope in
managers. Yes,
every every area of every maritime arena. They have equal scope as men.
yes. Hence, it is possible to combine motherhood and a maritime career. However, as
Yeah.
I said, women should also be interested to submit their intention, of course, to be considered, right? And also,
Yes.
another technique is to share success stories, inspiration, like advice, and some kind of mentoring. Mentoring system would be beneficiary for women students to be encouraged to be merchant marine officers. Like, for example, in your university, a women maritime student club can probably be established so that they can invite women alumni to in their
Yeah.
activities and meetings to serve as speakers. Um, Also, Bangladesh must also provide equal access and utilization of all its student services. What else? Developments, initiatives, programs to both male and female. So
And
whatever being
at this
offered to male must also be offered to female. That is
at this point,
inclusivity.
I would like to add something that it Bangladesh have already taken the steps, and in Bangladesh there is no discrimination, no gender discrimination. A
Very
girl and
good.
a boy, whatever her or his gender is, that will not be count in regards of education, in regards of any human rights. They all are equal. Bangladesh has already taken these steps.
Wow, very good. But of course, having taken that step, again, the women must be assertive. Meaning,
Yeah.
they must be creative. No, these females must be creative to initiate and also recommend activities because opportunity does not only come, to you. The women must also create their own
Yes.
opportunities. No, so the women must also find and avail all the opportunities being set by the Bangladesh government, by the Prime Minister Hasina, by the
Yes.
university, and they must find by asking or by checking, even checking the website. In other words, women must take action. So another tip, you must involve the participation of women, be it students or graduates or staff, to avail all the scholarship. No, any scholarship,
Yeah.
various calls to scholars, to papers, to contest, um, and utilize the strong alumni network. That's another thing. Strong linkages for to both local and international. Like to share with you, like in MAAP, we have this tracer study, for example, which provided us much data and information and serve as a reference in contacting our alumni in various MAP initiatives, projects, and programs. Also, another tip is to support external partners represented by women. I don't know if you are aware about ISWAN. These are organizations for women who look after the welfare of the women seafarers, the WIMAFIL Asia, the ITF, APEXen, who has their respective maritime activities, projects, programs for women. So in MAAP, we share our valuable human resources, our women students, our women faculty and staff, depending on the expertise needed by this organization. So another way is developing good relationship, of course, linkages with foreign principals and shipping companies to encourage the shipping companies, to continuously sponsor students, particularly
Yeah,
females, to work on them on board the vessel.
yeah,
For example, our president, he regularly meets with the sponsors and had arranged work for our females in cruise lines and even in tankers. Also, you have to get feedback from the
yes,
external partners, particularly the sponsors, the shipping companies, because the feedbacks is very important, no, in
yes,
as a basis for the improvement in all areas of the institutional operations, even in
yeah,
the MET curriculum, to enhance the competency of the students, including women. I would like to share that MAP was part of the IAMU, International Association Maritime University, funded project known called as JECAMET project. This is gender equality, cultural and awareness in maritime education and training. With me as a research partner and my dear friend, Professor Christina Dragomir of Constanta Maritime University, Romania. And in our study, we were able to identify 36 key performance indicators. Hence, the women graduates would be able, if they would be able to deliver or even show that they have the ability to perform the required competencies, then the decision of the shipping companies to hire the women on board would be more easier. You know, the result of the JECAMET study proves that, shows that the more, that it has more to do with the capability of women, and it has nothing to do with gender and nationality. So if the woman shows, you know, proving herself that she is capable, then she can be hired by the shipping company. And another thing, you have to expose the women, the female students or women, to international environment and work mates from different countries. And this is to provide them with global perspective, because, you know, shipping is a global international workforce.
global international
Yes.
phenomena.
So these are my personal perspective as MAP External Relations Director of the Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific, and also as an advisory member of the Asia of the Philippine Women in Maritime Philippines, and also the vice chair of the APEC, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Seafarers Excellence Network Expert Group on Recruitment and Career um, Job Transition for the seafarers. So these
Thank
are
you,
my.
ma'am. Thank you for your opinions. Thank you for your explanations and briefing. We are at the end of our today's webinar. So thank you, ma'am, once again. The session was very much informative, at the same time full of learning. I am sure we all have a lot to take from today's seminar. So it's a uh, so it's the end we are going to end our program today. If you want to say something to our Bangladeshi students and Bangladeshi viewers, so please you can say something.
Okay, thank you. This is what I just like to share with the students of Bangladesh, that you have to face these challenges with acceptance, with positivism, with creativity, innovation, and of course with prayers. Whatever is happening, I always would like to think that everything happened for a reason, for a purpose. You only have to make the most of it with love, with faith, with hope, patience, courage, and humility. The Philippines is a Catholic nation. As a Catholic, I face the challenges through prayers. Um, we have Allah, no? Yours is Allah. So the only permanent in the world is change, and with change comes with, of course, challenges. The way forward is through acceptance. Acceptance as things, to accept things which we cannot control or which we cannot change, as it's already there. The COVID-19 is there. We can see it, but the virus is there. Of course, through choice, choosing the best on what to do in a given situation. You may either choose to be depressed or to be happy, because that is one of the problems that we are facing now. A lot of students or even seafarers, they are so depressed. Mental stress is another challenge. But happiness is just a state of mind within the reach of everyone who takes time to be kind. For making others happy, you will be happy too. For the happiness you give away returns to shine on you. That's why we all have to heal and learn as one in this crisis. And of course, we have to act in accordance to the things that are within our control to be healthy and safe, no? And yet we must also be productive. So as ERO director, I embrace the situation and follow the protocol, no? The guidelines set by our institution, by the government, agencies on wearing masks, social distancing, alcohol, hand sanitizers. That is not only to
Yeah,
protect ourselves, but also to protect another. In terms of work, well, life continues, no? Life
yeah,
continues. We have to accept it. We have to make the most of it, and we have to be healthy in terms of emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. Um, we only have to control
yeah,
uh,
yeah. We have to
from
believe.
our own
We have to.
selves.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for your precious time. So, I, Hassan Siddiqui, is going to end this webinar by saying this: stay safe, stay at home, and goodbye.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bangladesh, and thanks, Hassan, and also to Arif. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, ma'am.